Hi guys, good morning. We're going to be talking to you about what the primary cause of World War II were. Why don't we just go ahead and dive right in, and here we go. Okay, so when we talk about the war in Europe, here's Hitler Mussolini in June of 1940. Okay, German expansion was at its height. All right, Hitler annexed Austria. He claimed the Sudetenland. Hitler took Austria because of the simple fact that there were Germanic people there. He claimed the Sudetenland, which was a part of Czechoslovakia that had German people in it. So it was part of the Czechoslovakia Republic, and Hitler planned to unite all German speaking people. Hitler believed that if you were German, you belonged under the flag of Germany, which in some theory makes sense. Okay. Hitler called after he took that first part. Neville Chamberlain and the Allied leaders ended up going to Germany and met in Munich. At the Munich conference, the leaders of Britain, France, Italy, Germany met in Munich in 1938. Britain and France agreed to give Hitler the Sudetenland, and Hitler promised that he would seek no further territory. Yeah, I don't know if I would have believed him. The practice of giving in to the aggression to avoid war is known as appeasement. This is where you sit and you give in to a dictator and so on, and appease, just to appease it. So they would draw a line in the sand and say, Hitler, you're not going to take any more. You're not going to take any more land beside this. You can have this, but that's it. And Hitler kind of looked at him and was like, I don't think so. I want more. Appeasement failed when Germany took the rest of Czechoslovakia. At that time, they said, Hitler, you can have Czechoslovakia, but no more land after that. Here's a picture of the people hailing to Hitler as he comes into, and the Nazi troops come into the rest of Czechoslovakia to occupy the country. Okay, so now you talk about appeasement and failing. And it kind of got to that point. Here's Hitler invades Poland. Here's Joseph Stalin. All right, Hitler and Stalin signed the non-aggression pact. They promised to not attack one another, which is really smart because Hitler did not want a two-front war. So as soon as that pact was signed and Russia or the Soviet Union's out of the way, Hitler launched his blitzkrieg against Poland. And remember, blitzkrieg means lightning war, and it means they strike fast, strike hard, no mercy. Poland quickly falls to Hitler within a matter of weeks. And of course, you've got your lightning bolts, okay, to show the whole blitzkrieg action that go on. Now we talk about a global conflict after the invasion of Poland. Okay, Britain and France declare war on Germany, which is what Hitler wanted all along. He's like, come on, I've been trying to get it out of you guys, so finally invading Poland is what he wanted. Later, the Allied powers would include Britain, France, Soviet Union, the United States, and China. The Soviet Union joined the Allies in 1941 after Hitler broke the non-aggression pact and turned around and attacked the Soviet Union, which by far was not his best move. If he would have left the Soviet Union out of the war, I think Hitler would have been a heck of a lot more successful. Italy and Japan joined Germany to form the Axis powers. France surrenders in spring 1940. Hitler's army smashed through Denmark, Norway, Holland, and Belgium. The German armies marched into Paris and France, France, in June of 1940. Hitler's target was Britain. He wanted to take down the French. Here's Hitler in June of 1940 saying, wish you were here, look what I got for you, your Valentine's Day gift. The French people were stunned. So he set up a government called Vichy France. Okay, Britain during World War II. After France fell, Britain stood alone in Europe. British Prime Minister Winston Churchill rallied the people as Germany bombed Britain. Hitler never got Britain. This was of great importance to the Allied war effort because it allowed us to stage grounds when we got there. It gave us a place to launch our offensive against Hitler. And during the Battle of Britain, Winston Churchill came on and gave radio addresses, and he said, "We shall never surrender," which was for him a defining moment as prime minister because he said, "We shall never surrender on the beaches, never surrender in the cities," and so on. And really, it was a powerful speech. So here's scenes from the Battle of Britain, Germans' massive bombing of Britain. Okay, you see houses and so on. They really did a number on Great Britain themselves. Churches were bombed. A lot of buildings in London were bombed. Here is the Civil Air Defense keeping watch out for the German Luftwaffe. Okay, and just the city of London in ruins. Okay, FDR and the American policy. FDR tried to help the Allies. He asked the repeal of the neutrality laws. Isolationists in Congress blocked the move because they didn't want to stay out of the war. So we agreed to a cash and carry plan. If you have cash, we'll carry. Allies could carry the cash for arms and goods and carry them home on their own ships. The threat of war convinces FDR to run for a third term. All right. Basically, you don't change horses in the middle of a race. So FDR won won re-election. Okay, so for him, it was the first time we've ever had a sitting president, okay, run for a third term. USA, known as the arsenal of democracy. FDR asked Congress to pass the Lend-Lease Act. The U.S. war equipment was sent to countries who was in defense. It was vital to the U.S. That's huge. FDR and Churchill formed what was called the Atlantic Charter. The Atlantic Charter basically said we will defend one another and protect the world for democracy. Pledged to support the right for all people to choose their own form of government. U.S. enters the war. Japan's war in Asia continued at a brutal pace. The U.S. tried to stop Japan's aggression by refusing to send oil and metal. It only made Japan more angry with us. An angry Japan launched a surprise attack on the U.S. On December 7th, 1941, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, a day which will live in infamy. According to FDR, as he gave his speech, 2,400 Americans were killed and the U.S. Pacific Fleet was decimated. FDR asked Congress for a formal declaration of war against Japan. This has only happened a few times in our nation's history. So he approached Congress and asked for a formal declaration of war. And now the United States was in World War II. Okay, Italy and Germany turned around and declared war on us as well. The ironic thing about Pearl Harbor here is that all our battleships were there, but we had 5 aircraft carriers in the Pacific Fleet. None of them were conveniently in port at that time. That ended up proving to become a huge point for the U.S. They lined our planes up side by side. They made it easy to bomb. Okay, here's FDR signing the formal declaration of war once it's in, and now U.S. is in. Game on. So, in conclusion, all right, we talk about what were the primary causes of World War II. The first one was anger over the Treaty of Versailles with Italy and Germany, the way they were treated. Germany was treated like garbage, and Italy, well, we know how Italy was. Italy wasn't brought to the table. The aggression by the 3 countries of Germany, Italy, and Japan. Okay, and then you had the failure of world powers, the U.S., Britain, France, the League of Nations to stand up to aggression. Now remember, the U.S. during this time really didn't care. They only cared about what was going on in their own nation and not what was going on in the world. Britain and France tried here and there, but they were too busy trying to stick it to Germany for what happened during World War I. The failure of the policy of appeasement definitely is something that hurt them because it gave in to Hitler's demands. And when somebody is out there demanding things like Hitler did, you can't back down after a while. And then finally, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. So we'll see you in our next installment here and see how it goes. Thanks and have a great day.